Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump and today I'll be reviewing the Iron Lung movie which was released back on the 30th of January of this year. Now this is a adaptation of the game Iron Lung, which I have heard about and seen like bits and pieces of, but not a huge amount about the game specifically. The only thing I knew about the game was that Markiplier, the person who helped like direct as well as act and produce it. I think as well as being one of the writers, was making a movie based on the game. And the main plot of the movie is that you have this convict who is sent into this huge planet, I believe. It's like full of like blood and stuff, and he's sent down there to try and do just some reconnaissance of the area that's below the sea of or the lake of or the river of sea of or the river of blood, and throughout the entire movie he basically finds like new discoveries, and the people overlooking his sort of I would say the parole, I would say, yeah, it's because like the convict who we later learn is called Simon is basically why the reason why he's there is because of an incident that went wrong, and there's like this big explosion, and Simon got put all the blame on. So this is the main reason why he's doing this, and once and he's been told that, oh, just do this thing for us very quick, just go in, do some reconnaissance, come out, then you're free. But throughout the course of the movie, he keeps on being given more tasks. Like, we need you to collect some samples, we need you to do this thing, we need to do that thing. And the whole of the movie is is in this one singular submarine. And this is basically a sort of like horror movie in a sort of sense. So like, you've got horror movies or horror pieces of media, like you've got the Friday the 13th movies, you've got games like FNAF or Resident Evil, and those games will have like, their own sort of scares and stuff, but so you've got like, jump scares, musical cues, that sort of thing. But with Iron Lung, the movie, I think one of the main horrors, you could say, or one of the main horrors of the movie is that it's the main horror is the claustrophobic type of horror, as well as horror of the unknown, because the whole movie is in this one submarine. It's a big-ish submarine. It's not tremendously big, but it's large enough for one person to walk around and just just use the machines or the controls of the sub, and then go back to the back and just use the camera to like locate stuff, as well as just trying to make any repairs here and there, that sort of thing. But I think that's like the more claustrophobic horror. And when it comes to like the horror of the unknown, we keep on hearing this sort of banging, and that's mainly because of the creatures outside, and we do get to see them like through X-ray or through the camera X-rays, because the camera is done using this sort of like X-ray filter thing, and you do get to see like the outlines of the creatures, and so you don't get to fully like see the entire body. You do get to see like parts of their body, like mainly like the front of their body, so like the face, the mouth, the eyes, that sort of thing. But you do actually get to see them fully, and I think there's an interesting way of doing a monster and how like you do one, because to me this movie is kind of similar to the Doctor Who episode Midnight, in that in that particular episode, that whole one is done in one main location, and you've got like a bunch of characters just scared out of their mind of what's happening. And I think this is where Iron Lung is kind of doing in that sort of thing, where like you've got a few characters and it's all done in one main location. And the submarine is a really well put together set. I think from the amount that Markiplier had to use. I think I think that one big submarine set is really good. It's really like I think the whole design what helps with the claustrophobicness, and as well as what makes the outside of the submarine a bit more tense, because there's only one window, and that's mainly at the front. Well, there's technically two because of the camera, but with the whole set, I think it's really well put together, and I think as the movie goes on, you get more and more tense of what could be out there and what could how could the monster see as well as attack, that sort of thing. And yeah, I think it definitely does get a bit more tense and a bit more claustrophobic as the movie goes on. And yeah, I think it's just a fun way of it's one of those movies or horror movies that just has a lot. I think it knows it's a horror based movie, and I think it just like goes along with like, okay, let's do this, but let's try and ramp it up a bit. And I do like how Simon keeps calling the people out of like, no, you said I was done after this. I want to be free. I don't care what happens to me. Just let me go. I don't want to do this anymore. And I think it's cool of like how he calls the people out of that. Like, no, you promised me this thing. I want to go. And yeah, I think as a whole, the movie is one of the it was like 2 hours long, and I think it's one of those movies that's like you can watch like every so often. Like if you want to have a good like sort of like tense like sort of like watching and stuff sort of thing. And I don't know if it was just if this happened to like everybody else who watched it in their respective theaters, or it was just me, but I could swear that the speakers, you could hear a particular bit of like a particular like bit of audio or something like that coming from the other side of the theater, like from the cinema, like because I was sat quite on the edge, like I was close to the wall when I watched the movie, so I was near some speakers above me, but I could swear that there was some audio, a lot of like stuff like the blood around the tank, as well as, well, not the tank, the sub, but also the noise that the sub was making on the other side, as well as the monster attacking. I don't know if it was just me or if it happened to everyone, but I think that also helped with the whole claustrophobicness, as well as the mainly the claustrophobia of the thing, because it feels like you're in it makes that whole like you're in one singular location a whole lot more terrifying and a lot more like scared, I would say, because of how closed in and boxed off you are to the rest of the world and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, it was a really good movie. And I think Markiplier does a really good job of switching from, okay, he's a lot more calm, but now he's a lot more scared and angry. And he does a really good job of just bringing all these different emotions, because if you've seen any of his like other projects he's done on his main channel, like A Date with Markiplier, Who Killed Markiplier, A Heist with Markiplier, that sort of thing, he for those sort of projects he does bring a lot of his more comedic chops to it. But with the Iron Lung movie, I think he does a really good job of just bringing out the sort of like scared, sort of like terrified person who has no idea what's going on. And if Markiplier never became a YouTuber, I would say he would make a very good actor, because he does a really good job of just bringing all these different emotions, and I think he sells the performance really well, and I think that would make this movie work a whole lot because of his acting. And yeah, I think he does a really good job with the material that he had to use for the movie and stuff like that. So yeah, as a whole, it's quite enjoyable, and it's one of those movies I would say like that makes you, as the movie goes on, it makes you a bit more terrified, and because of where it's done, it makes you like feel a bit more claustrophobic because of the whole set. So yeah, so that's been my review for the Iron Lung movie. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.